Hi, good morning everyone. Hi Rodolfo, welcome to my channel. How are you?
Hi, Hema. I'm fine, thanks, man. What about you?
I'm doing perfectly alright. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Cool.
So, in this talk, we are planning to discuss about the KNOXSS tool, which was developed by Brute Logic, aka Rodolfo,
Yeah,
which we will discuss about how to use it, the benefits of using the KNOXSS tool, how we can use the API. We will go with the further steps, how to do it, like how to trigger the access using Knox tool in, when you're trying to send out some bunch of URLs to the API and trying to trigger exercise while you're sleeping. Let's get started.
sure.
So this is the main homepage of Knox.me. So once you purchase the renewals of 3, 6 or 12 months, once you signed up, you can go to edit profile and you can generate a new API key. So anyways, I will change my API key after this recording. So once you get this API key, just save all changes and then you are good to go. So if you go to home page again, you will see the actual API guidelines, how to use it. Here you will have API guidelines. If you open this page, you will have all necessary steps to do it. If you want to run a simple curl command with the request with the parameters, I will show you an example. So this is the curl command. You have to give the Knox API and we have to define the target with the URL and the parameter and actually your API key. Okay. So I already have mine. Let me give an example. So I'm trying to attack an XSS using for the brute logic URL with the p01 parameter with the value title. Okay. So as soon as you enter, it will hit the Knox API and it will try for any reflections or different kind of payloads for XSS and it will try to pop up the result after the scan. Let's wait for 1 second. Here you go. You got the result saying that XSS true and you have a POC as well, which is the best part of Knox tool. Generally, you might rarely see the POC for any other freeware tools, but here you'll right away getting the URL, just copy paste it and put it in the browser, you will see a pop-up alert. And it will give the target URL, how long it took, how many API calls we have used. This is one way of doing it. If you want to add multiple parameters, let me open the guide again. If you want to use two parameters, you have to separate it with percentage 26. There is a parameter and B parameter. You have to separate it by percentage 26 and pass this value. It will go and hit and it will try for XSS. In the same way, you can do for post, but only thing is you have to mention this as a post and the rest of the curl command is same. If you want to try for any authenticated, it can be cookies or it can be JWT token, authorization bearer, right? So here all you have to pass is the auth with the cookie value. So to make it more simpler, I have seen one of the tweet from Brute Logic. There are some very good one-liners which will try to explain in another video to demonstrate this Knox tool further. But I seen a Python wrapper, which was I felt very cool, which was created by XML hacker. Let me open that GitHub repo. I will put this GitHub repo in the description. Installation of this tool is very simple. You have to do git clone and then install necessary requirements, and all you have to pass is the I as a input, and then you have to pass the actual URL. The cool thing about this is you can pass as many URLs, uh, and you can pass it as an I argument. Let me show you an example. I'm trying to do it in the Dell program. If you see, these are the XSS has a lot of endpoints, and I'm outputting it to XSS results, and I'm running this KNOXSS tool. I'm trying to show the URLs which I grabbed it from the Dell by using Wayback URL or GAU, right? So you can do this way as well. You can do echo Dell.com. You can send it to Subfinder. You can do silent, and you can do HTTPX, and you can do. So once this is done, you can do a Wayback URL, or you can do GAU as well. Anything is fine, and you can grep for equal to symbol, right? And then you can do a GF on XSS, and you can do your work to have a unique path, and then you can use uh, you can do some curl command, which I said, and you can use that. Let me try to copy it instead of typing it. You can use the same curl command which I have shown you. So AWK used for gripping. So here we are trying to pass the curl command of each subdomain and trying to grep and trying to uh, do an XSS. So each endpoint or each path which has parameters will go to this API. The $1 is nothing but passing the value of the output which come from grep, and that will go output as a GF, and it will store XSS. XSS all the field parameters which we have, that will send one by one to KNOXSS API, and it will check whether any XSS vulnerabilities are there or not. To make it simple,
You need to change the API key.
yeah. So to make it simple, I already configured that in config.yaml. I will do ls and I will show you. Config.yaml, you have to configure the KNOXSS API key here. This is the URL and this is the API key. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna change this API key after the recording. So what you can try is you can execute Python knoxsl.py and you give I as an argument, right? What needs to be done. So I will pass out all the URLs which I got from that XSS. So tools, recon, Dell, recon, Dell, JS, XSS.txt. So you have to pass this XSS.txt. Okay. So if you click on enter, it will hit each path to KNOXSS API and it will try for XSS. So here for few endpoints we are getting forbidden because I didn't pass the authorization related token. But once we pass all these again, we can try that scenario as well. So, Rodolfo, while this is going on, I just want to ask you one question.
I don't know. It seems there's a WAF there. It's blacklisting Knox IP address because when Knox says that it can test it because it's forbidden, it's because the very first pre-flight request, which is a regular request, it doesn't have any special character, any access payload. It doesn't have anything malicious, it's just a regular request. That's the very first request fired by Knox. So when that request gets a 403 status code, a forbidden one, Knox can't proceed, so it stops and says that it can test it because it will be a waste of time. That usually happens with WAFs that blacklist Knox IP address because we don't enforce any proxy rotation to change our IP address by now. I was avoiding to do so because I don't want to be seen as a black hat tool. If a site owner, if someone doesn't want to be tested by Knox, it's blacklisting our IP address. It's because they don't want to get tested by us. So my view on that was respect that respect that So, but because we are being heavily blocked by guys from Akamai, for example, Akamai, uh, I'm started to rethink that, So not Cloudflare, not Sukuri, not Imperva, because they can block us, but they release the blocking after some minutes. But permanent blocking is not good. So I'm rethinking in using that kind of proxy rotation to change IP address and avoid the IP blacklisting, the IP blacklisting.
Okay. So, do we have any API limitations?
The API have some limitations, but basically this is tied to Knox engine. The API is just like an interface, like the web interface, with some features like giving back the number of attempts, the remaining number of attempts per day, calls per day, the timestamp, description of an error. But the web interface also gives a description of an error. So it's not exclusive to API. The API, it's good because it can be used in the CLI environment, command line interface or terminal, but it used the same backend that Knox uses in the web interface, in the browser add-on. So it's the same Knox. So the problem will never be with the API, except for the API key. But the problem will be with the Knox engine. If the Knox engine times out, for example, for lots of targets, for lots of URLs, it times out sometimes, a lot of time, to be honest. But it's because it waits a little for a response from server. Sometimes the server takes too long to respond because of the way Knox tested it or the way Knox is filing requests. or simply because there was some server-side issue. But this is easily verifiable if you run the test again. If you run the test again, it does a times out. It was not Target's fault. It was Knox's fault. But usually, when you face a timeout, you repeat the test and you will get a timeout again because it's the way the target is reacting to Knox, to Knox requests. So we can't do any further. Can't go any further. That's exactly the question.
The Knox extension will support both the browsers, right?
Yeah, for Chrome and for Firefox.
Okay. So
But
do we have any updates in future?
yeah, I'm working on that. But there's a little problem because uh, the Google team is always changing the specs of the APIs the browsers can use. It's meant to be something universal for all browsers. So Firefox and other browsers have to respect that standard they are creating. They are actually in the version 3 of the manifest about browser APIs that we can call to make because the add-on, the extension is a little program, it's a little program that we can attach to the browser to do some stuff. And we do that calling certain APIs they provide to us. In that new version that they released, and they will make deprecated the version 2, which is the version where the actual extension is based on the version 2. They will be it will be deprecated until the end of the year. So I'm coding the new one for the manifest version 3, but it has a lot of changes, and those changes are really affecting the way I'm building the extension. So I'm kind of fighting against those changes to make a better extension. And the new one probably won't won't be good for some users, because it will include the flash mode. The flash mode, it's that mode when you place a tag with the XSS word on a parameter, and then Knox will test just that parameter. It will skip all the other tests to be faster. It will use JavaScript polyglot developed by me for to test that parameter that is able to catch a lot of XSS cases. I can even share to you a test, a file with all those gene. I have a test page called XSS gene to make tests, XSS tests, and then that flash mode can perform 27 out of 33 tests successfully. I was using indeed that wrapper that you were using to show that's possible. So it's a very effective way to test parameter in very fast way using the flash mode. So the next extension will come with the flash mode enabled by default. And if you don't want to use it, if you want to use some extensive set of tests, you can disable it, and Knox will test the way it tests nowadays. That's my plan to the new extension for Chromium-based browsers. I don't have a release date yet. I'm working on it, but it will be released with the new updated version of Knox that will bring some extra tricks to bypass some scenarios, to bypass some WAFs, because I can see Cloudflare doesn't seem to learn the lesson in those last bypasses. So I can hard code that bypass in Knox, and it will help a lot. So Knox will come with some good news. That's pretty much of the roadmap that I have for Knox by now. And that will be delivered before the Black Friday, always delivered before the Black Friday, so people can get the best of Knox for a very good price in Black Friday, November this year.
We will be waiting for that. So, anyways, I will renovate for sure. So, one last question. So, how frequently? I know you do rarely bug bounties, but do you use the Knox new enhancements in any bug bounties?
No, I don't. I don't use Knox to look for bounties because I don't want to be someone who has an edge, right? I have an edge because I'm the owner of the application, of the tool, over the customers, of the users of the tool. So I just want to keep it fair. So I don't hunt. I don't use Knox for that. I only use Knox for testing, etc. But if I enter the bug bounty world, if I find time to do that, I will try to use Knox as everyone else using the API with 3.3K calls per day. I want to use a dedicated server just to me to get faster, to get more power from Knox because I don't think it's fair. So indeed, I'm looking for a partnership. I think we are doing some kind of partnership right now to look for bugs. You will be looking for bugs using Knox, and we have that kind of feedback that you can bring to me, and I can help you to try to use it better. Besides the Twitter itself, the guys at Twitter is they are always tweeting some good tips in how to use it, to get bounties, to get access, like that tweet you just show in the screen a couple of minutes ago from Offjar. He's a really good user of the Knox API and several other ones. So I think the community is helping to one each other to make better use of Knox because Knox is just a tool in the complex workflow, of reckon, of sorting the best URLs, of choosing the right targets. Knox is just at the end of that workflow. It's just the kind of the judge, the kind of the evaluator of the if the URL is vulnerable or not. But to take the URL, to write the URL, the vulnerable URL, it's the homework of the bug hunter. So that's we need to improve to make the best use of the tool.
Okay, so in the next session, we will go through all these source-based access test cases and the reflection, multi-reflection, special cases. We will walk through manually and through Knox tool so that we will get to know how fast the Knox tool is identifying, and we will also get some hands-on, right? How we need to attack the XSS using these different cases, which will be helpful while we are doing bug bounties in a big targets or small targets. If you are trying to attack XSS, it will be helpful. We will bring in brute logic to the next session so that we will go through manually all the XSS accesses, and the same case with the Knox tool in parallel. So with that, I will be signing off. We will be wrapping up this quick talk with Rodolfo. Thank you so much for joining this call. It's really pleasure always talking to you.
It's all my pleasure, my friend. You can call me whenever you want. Let's try to start a project. Maybe if your viewers give us some good feedback, we can maybe start a show talking about XSS, about Knox, about bug hunting, even. So we are here to help. We are here to inform. Thank you so much. You're such a good guy. And success. All the best, man.
Thank you so much, Rodolfo. Hemakumar signing off. HK Cybersec. Thank you all for joining. Have a nice day.